This building will be a school. It is not located in a community. Like its location, its purpose and its design will be unique. Why would a school be built in such an isolated location? Why is it designed the way it is? This school is being built for Indian children. They will come from homes which are spread over a broad geographical region. Getting to and from school each day would be an impossibly long trip. This may call for the school to have boarding facilities and other special features. The job of providing new schools for Indian communities, as in any other community, is continuous. This is true for several reasons. One is that population centers change and increase, requiring more schools, and schools in new places. Another reason is that old schools become inadequate and unsafe. They may simply wear out and become too costly to repair. Frequently, changes in educational requirements and methods demand flexibility which older buildings simply cannot provide. Usually, several of these reasons apply when the decision is made to replace a school. How new schools are designed and built to meet the changing needs of today's Indian communities is the subject of this film. This is the Phoenix Indian School, recently completed. It came into being not because someone somewhere thought a new school should be built here. The expression of need for a new school came first from the community it now serves. This expression of need will frequently reflect a number of concerns. Populations increase, bringing new people to the population centers. New housing springs up where formerly there was only empty land. Where people go, schools must follow. Or the community may react to the fact that the old classrooms of their schools are not only overcrowded, but also unsafe or physically unsuitable for their children to be in. Often the old schools do not permit the kind of top-quality instruction the teachers know how to provide and the children deserve. They need more and different kinds of learning spaces. No longer does a group of box-like rooms with maybe an office or a storeroom make a school. Also, the school often becomes a community center, when facilities permit, where the people can come to hold meetings or attend performances. All these needs that have been identified will be endorsed by concerned community groups, such as the school board, the tribal council, or other civic leaders. Once there is agreement on the need for a new school, the leaders can tackle the problem of funding. Bureau of Indian Affairs personnel can be of help on this problem. The BIA arranges for the funds with which new Indian schools are built. Each new project is funded separately by Congress. It is the BIA's job to prepare the case for a new school and present it to Congress. All of the approved projects are put on a priority list and are funded as the money becomes available. A new school construction project is not funded all at once. It will appear on the priority list in 4 phases: advanced planning, project design and drawing, the construction phase, and finally equipping the finished school. The 4 phases normally will require 3 years for completion. Let's look at each of these phases. First, advanced planning. This is a continuation of the planning work already done. Representatives of several groups may be included in the process. There may be leaders from the community for which the school is being planned, and students representative of those who will attend the new school. There may be special consultants to help with the architectural and engineering features of the new school. And finally, educators and architects from the Bureau of Indian Affairs will be present to coordinate the whole project. Together, these people will develop a statement which defines the educational program for the new school. The statement will describe the need for several kinds of spaces in the school. It might describe such needs as living spaces for students who must leave home to go to school, or spaces where health problems may be provided for, which require treatment away from regular health care facilities. The program may include a new emphasis upon individualized instruction and the kind of facilities needed if students are to work by themselves rather than always in groups. It may feature a new emphasis upon the learning of practical skills such as home economics and other areas which reflect cultural values and home life. There may be a strong academic program, including such things as science, which can equip young people both to assume new jobs and to go on into higher education. To support individual learning, the new school will need to have a place to house and use the many types and larger quantities of learning materials and equipment available. The Instructional Materials Center replaces some of the space previously given to classrooms. Learning a vocation, or the basic skills of one, is becoming of ever-increasing importance to modern education. Once the planners have decided on all of the programs which will go on in the new school, they will write them down in a document called the Educational Specifications. This document will be organized into 4 sections. First, the philosophy and educational program. Second, staffing patterns and the way the school will operate. Third, how the space is to be divided up and the equipment that is necessary. Finally, how the new school should be made flexible to allow changes in the future. When the educational specifications are completed, the BIA staff can proceed with the next step, which is developing a more specific planning guide called the Program of Requirements. This planning guide will help fill the large gap that exists between the educational specifications and the actual blueprints for the school. It will contain specifications for each of the basic areas the architect must consider. The computer is a handy tool in processing all the data used in developing the Program of Requirements. Through such data processing, interpretations in written form of the sizes and numbers of learning spaces will be developed, and kinds and amounts of equipment will be determined. The Program of Requirements will be used by architects to prepare the preliminary architectural drawings and studies. It has data on circulation patterns, room arrangements, and much engineering information. These drawings and studies show how the building will be designed to support the program described in the educational specifications. The Program of Requirements and the preliminary architectural drawings and studies are used together to provide the basis on which to develop the first cost estimates for the new school. These estimates are needed to support requests for funding the next step, the final design of the school. The actual project design and bid documents for a proposed facility are prepared by BIA staff. However, private architectural firms will be used where they are available and where it will benefit the project. Preparing the actual construction drawings is a detailed and complex process. Many factors must be taken into account. For instance, how the proposed school will be erected on the chosen location, ground conditions, drainage problems, geographic and cultural considerations. All these factors will provide direction for architectural and engineering design. With the help of consulting engineers, detailed plans for such features as electrical circuitry, plumbing, and heating systems are prepared after the basic floor plans are worked out. The architectural staff will work with specialists in building materials to utilize the latest in technological developments. All of the work that the architectural firm does is inspected and supervised by BIA staff members to be sure that the new school will possess all of the features desired by the local planning committee. The work is reviewed by the Division of Safety of the BIA to see that it complies with both local and BIA construction codes and ordinances. When the actual construction drawings are completed, funding becomes a concern once more. Detailed cost analyses must be worked out in preparation for requesting the necessary funding to build the school. When funded, construction of the school can at last begin. Potential contractors are notified with a formal invitation to bid on the project. The bids are opened at a specified time and place. The job is normally awarded to the lowest bidder. Actual construction usually begins within a month of the time the contract is signed. Where no local contractors are available, the Bureau of Indian Affairs may also need to do the construction. This is especially true in rural Alaska, where school sites are often remote. Construction may take a few months or as long as several years, depending upon the nature of the project. And it will have its periods of fast and impressive progress, as well as times when complications and time-consuming details make the project seem to drag. But time and patience will gradually reveal a handsome, functional school plant. All along the way, the BIA staff members inspect and supervise the construction of the school as thoroughly as they did the design stages. As the building is being constructed, plans to equip it are being made. BIA staff and local representatives work together to select the equipment needed for the new school. Inventories are worked out in fullest detail. Descriptions are developed for bid purchasing. Timing is important. The equipment must be purchased so that it arrives at the time the school is ready for use. This is a great day, the culmination of an effort which was started several years earlier. It represents solid evidence of hundreds of hours of hard work and careful organization. It represents the thoughtful concern and leadership of people from the local community, of government in carrying out legislative requirements, and of all the educational leaders and planners in working out program details and developing the educational specifications. It represents the skill of specialists in developing the program of requirements, in creating the preliminary and final drawings, and in arranging for the actual construction of the buildings. And finally, it represents the most obvious step, the creating of a finished building out of the raw materials. Indian people want to be themselves and to have schools that represent them. The school building activities of the BIA fill a need which cannot be met in any other way. Students need and demand an educational program that is responsive to the times and local conditions. The school of today can do the job to help Indian youth blend the demands of a modern world with their own rich cultural heritage.